They're flooding Wall Street with helicopter money. They're flooding Wall Street with shin plaster. They're flooding Wall Street with money right out of the thin air. They're flooding Wall Street with vast amounts of fiat, phony baloney, trash, cash, right before the next election cycle. Right before the upcoming presidential elections, the next election cycle, with, I don't know, I guess there's some senators going to get, voted for, and maybe some congressmen going to get voted for. I kind of forget how that cyclical dog and pony show of smoke and mirrors and witches and warlocks works in Washington District of Criminals. Let's go back to the $100 note, or the 100 note. Let's call it the 100 note, because everybody knows that they took the copper, they took the silver, and only the uber wealthy control the massive amounts of gold in the Queen's vaults. The old Queen of England, she loves all her gold, and Qatar and Saudi Arabia, and I'm sure Donald Trump's got a nice little pile of gold hidden somewhere on the planet, because he's one of those shin plaster mafia guys, the shin plaster mob. Now, let me bring it to a head here. Barack Obama and Bill Clinton and Hillary and George Bush Sr. and George Bush Jr. are all filthy rich because they say see no evil, hear no evil, and speak no evil about the shin plaster mob, the fiat currency masters of the Federal Reserve and above, the world's central banks and all the paper currency. Now, I mean, it doesn't take much more than a second grader to understand that this money's coming from out of the thin air. Case in point, here's some simple math for you. You print the first 100 note for 15 fake pennies. Even the pennies are fake. Take one of these new shiny pennies and cut it in half and tell me what you see. So you take 100 fake pennies, and for 100 fake pennies, how many 100 notes can you print with the fake pennies? For 15 fake pennies, you can manufacture 100 note, leaving you a profit of $99.85. And you can print 800 more 100 notes. So for 15 fake pennies, you can print 801 100 notes. You know how much money you can print after that? For nothing? All you want. You never have to stop. And, of course, the Federal Reserve, every night, with their repo loans, they call them repo loans, are flooding vast amounts of shin plaster and bills of credit and, fiat, phony baloney bullshit into Wall Street, right preceding the next presidential election. So yes, look over there, it's Ukraine. Look over there, it's Russia. Be distracted. Oh, Donald Trump. Hey, look, buddy, it's Ukraine, and it's Syria, and it's Israel. Oh God, look, it's Jerusalem. It's Jerusalem, Donald Trump. And this whole impeachment thing, who's the whistleblower? I'm the damn whistleblower. This guy right here. I am the whistleblower. Donald Trump, Patrick McHenry, Adam Schiff, Colin McGinnis. Who in the flying hell has ever heard of Colin McGinnis? Right, Maxine Waters? The impeachment inquiry, the dog and pony show leading up to the next shin plaster mafia installment of the bought and paid for District of Criminals. And yes, this video is going out to Lucid Dreamer. Lucid Dreamer on YouTube. Are you paying attention, Lucid Dreamer? Let's talk about the paper currencies and the central banks where they manufacture endless rivers and tsunamis of money from thin air, right out of nothing. And they control all the little machines. They control the working class, what do you call, oh yeah, the employees, the machines for the shin plaster mafia. And they're so brainwashed and indoctrinated and bamboozled by corporate news media, they don't even realize they're hypnotized with shin plaster. Every last dollar and cent in circulation out of the United States is phony baloney bullshit. Phony baloney shin plaster. And they give huge amounts of it to like Supreme Court justices and federal district court judges and federal appellate judges. They flood their bank accounts with all the shin plaster they want. They buy them. They're bought, paid for, and installed by the good old shin plaster mob. Lucid Dreamer. Now, I got a lot of friends that are running around and they're screaming and hollering about mortgages and predatory this and foreclosure that, illegal this, and Title X. You got Title X, you got FIREA, you got the Bank Secrecies Act, and let's not leave Ken Dost out. That's a question for my old buddy Ken Dost. Are the notes, the Federal Reserve notes, are they copywritten and patented, Ken Dost? How about that one, Ken Dost? That one's good. That one's funny, isn't it, Ken Dost? And get a hold of Robert Wagner and ask Robert Wagner, are the notes of the Treasury bills, are they all copywritten and patented? Come on, Robert Wagner. Let's talk about the shin plaster mafia. And while we're at it, let's get Mark Stopa and Mark Widener. Let's get old Mark Widener in this. Matt Stopa and Mark Widener. Come on down. Excuse me. And we'll talk about the out of the thin air mob. Right out of thin air. And you can bring Nelda Luce Radabow Blair. That's quite a mouthful, isn't it? Nelda Luce Radabow Blair. And bring, bring Robert Mossbacher and George W. Bring W down into this conversation, and let's talk about the happy days of secret black operations wars out of Houston, Texas. W. Good old W and his secret wars from Lamar Terrace with the Triad Mafia. Right, Donald Trump? Let's talk about the Triad Mafia, Don Trump, and all the secret weapon shipments that you and the Clintons and the Bushes and the Obamas and the Holders and the Ashcrofts and the Gonzaleses, and let's not forget old Jeff Sessions, and let's not forget William Barr. Come on down, William Barr, and bring old, what's his name there, the director of the FBI. I forget his name. You get so many of these. Christopher Wray, there you go. Bring old Chris Wray down with you, and let's talk about the Houstonian estates. This is your whistleblower, Eric Yallick, and the Golden Hammer of Conroe, Texas. Here's your whistleblower right here. Who's the whistleblower? Well, of course, it's the guy that's the author of the toxic zombie developments It's where all the toxicity and the zombies take up their residencies in their shin plaster houses. How about that? Shin plaster houses, where the Fannie Mae and the Freddie Mac and the FHA and the HUD and the Consumer Finance Bullshit Board. How about that one, Andrew Lehman? The Consumer Finance Bullshit Artists. Ha ha ha. That's pretty good, isn't it? You and Mark Stopa ought to be on the floor laughing. The Consumer Finance Shin Plaster Mafia. Yeah. Old Donald Trump. Hey, look over there, man. Look over there. Be distracted. Come on. Be distracted. Don't pay any attention to the out of thin air mob. Right out of thin air. And to this guy, Lucid Dreamer. You know, yeah, you got some fancy software and you make some fancy videos. But Lucid Dreamer, let's talk about paper currencies and the shin plaster, bills of credit, fiat, phony baloney money cabal, the cartel. Right, Donald John Trump? Oh, Mike Pence. You want to join the conversation, Mr. Pence? Bring Colin McGinnis and Adam Schiff and Patrick McHenry. Bring them all with you. And we'll talk about this game. The game. The clowns, as old Lucid Dreamer calls them. He calls them the clowns. And get David Ikes and Alex Jones, and you can get, I don't know, get anybody you want to get. Get the shapeshifters, right? David Ikes. Bring Julian Assange. Let's get Julian Assange to talk about the shin plaster mob with WikiLeaks. WikiLeaks, you're nothing but a fraud. And you're directly in bed with all your investors. Just like Facebook and Google. Google's horrible for this stuff. Google and Yahoo and all these great big internet, they're whores, man. They're internet whores. They're just in love with the people that issue to them all their phony baloney paper currency. Right, Mark Zuckerberg? Zuckerberg, you don't have the balls. You don't have the scrotum to talk to me on national television. Same thing goes for George W. and Barack Obama. He's getting $400,000 a speech from all the bankers that he did not prosecute with Eric Holder and Eric Schneiderman. The Financial Fraud Investigation Task Force. That's a good one, Barack Obama. And Joe Biden, you stink, buddy. Joe Biden, you stink to high heavens. Now, folks, I can go on forever. I can go on for years exposing these prostitutes that have been paid for with the shin plaster. Ladies and gentlemen, I think I've covered all the bases. All the information you're ever going to need is right down below. And to all my family and friends and the people that love me around the world, how many 100 notes, they're not dollars, 100 notes can you print for 15 fake, the pennies are fake. How many 100 notes can you manufacture for 15 fake pennies? There's your Judd Witham challenge. The whistleblower has laid down the gauntlet. Hasta la vista. God bless, and you betcha, we're coming back.